What's up, everybody? So my parents had a large stack of papers and artwork and all kinds of things that my brother and I did when we were little, and been going through the whole house and just, like, you know, cleaning up stuff and getting rid of stuff. And so they had a big stack of papers that they wanted us to go through and figure out what we wanted to keep or get rid of. And so I thought I would just share a few of my old crappy work from when I was in elementary school. There's some really truly terrible artwork. There's a few little random things from my PE class. Anyway, so I'll start with this. It's a book of poems that I wrote. The poems themselves are not particularly interesting. I just thought it was funny that I couldn't even spell poems right. My book of poems. So obviously I wasn't the best speller in the whole world. But even worse than my spelling was my artistic ability, which has definitely skipped over me, because there's a definite, like, artistic thread in my family. My grandfather was extremely artistic, his sister was artistic, my uncle's artistic, my brother's artistic, my mom is currently taking some art classes and discovering that she's artistic, and I absolutely am not at all artistic. That here's me, and here's the little artistic gene, and it went whoop, right over me. This I thought was particularly funny. This was in my 2nd grade class, and throughout the year we did 3 different self-portraits. It's clearly just done with crayon, I guess. So this was my self-portrait at the beginning of the year, or, you know, in the fall. And later on, we all did our self-portraits. I remember we hung them up on the wall. And
why are you so pale?
Well, I think the bigger question too is, why is my hair like a line? Like, I didn't even think to give myself any more hair than literally like one fat crayon line. These were all collected and hung up on the wall, and everyone else had like actual hair. And so I thought, oh, next time I need to do a better job on my hair. So I was very proud of myself the next time around that I did such a much better job. I have more hair.
And skin tone.
And I have skin tone. The hair is not even in any way. And yeah, the skin tone's not even either. And I clearly have no neck, but anyway, I thought this was much better than my previous attempt. I suppose by the end of the year it wasn't so bad. I don't know. I was in 2nd grade, but clearly I still don't have a neck. And my hair still just hangs off the side of my head. I don't know. It was ridiculous. But this was not at all the end of my horrific artistic ability. This, I believe, is a cricket.
What are these little dots on this?
Don't ask me that question.
This is the best.
Yeah, this is a unipeg, which is a unicorn with wings. And this looks like some sort of a strange horse with a party hat and a bush growing out of its back. Not to mention this thing's big old giant butt that's just sort of hanging out about 4 feet out the end of his back legs. Alright, here's a picture of a horse, and I'll just make it clear that I was obsessed with horses and unicorns and all that junk. And so I drew these things all the time. I mean, I probably drew a couple of horses or unicorns like every single day. And this was pretty much the best I could do. He has no leg joints. He still has a butt that's kind of hanging off the back. And
got some pretty crazy legs on that horse.
Yeah, yeah. It just looks like, the legs look like spaghetti. Take a wild guess and try to figure out what this is.
And if you guessed
giant pandas.
Then you're right.
Because it did a report on giant pandas. And this is like, supposed to be a giant panda.
It looks like a furry tooth.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It does. It looks
like a molar.
Yeah, it looks like a tooth with something growing on it.
He's awesome.
So, anyway, so that's just a sampling of my brilliant artwork.
I think it's good.
No, you don't.
I do.
I think it's humorous. It brings you entertainment.
No, it's good. I mean, if you drew that now, I would think.
So this little thing, there's a funny story behind it. It's a little piece of cardboard, and it has construction paper in green, yellow on one side, and orange and red on the other side.
You can tell it's old. It's faded.
Yeah, it's all faded. The sticker is actually just came right off. But anyway, this was from my 3rd grade class, and we had on the wall, these were behavior cards. So we had on the wall cards with a bunch of little pockets. Each one had our name on it, and each pocket sat the card. And so the pocket would be like this, and the card would sit like this. At the beginning of each day, everybody's card would be green. And if you had any infractions throughout the day, if you were out of your seat or you were talking when you weren't supposed to, or for whatever reason, the teacher would say you have to turn your card. So you'd have to turn it over and it would be yellow, and that was a warning. And then if you had another infraction, the teacher would tell you to turn your card again. So you would take it, and then you had to flip it over to orange. And this was the bad side of the card. This meant, orange meant you had to stay in from break. You had, everyone else got to go outside and you had to sit in the classroom. I don't even know who was watching the kids inside, but I never had to stay in. But, so this was bad. And then if you had a third infraction for the day, you turned it over to red, and then the teacher contacted your parents. Ooh, real trouble then. So anyway.
That's like the terror watch list score.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like the behavior terror watch list score. It's on orange, it's on orange. I never got past yellow. I had yellow a few times, but I never had to use this side of the card. So this side never saw the light of day in the classroom. I remember there's one particular day where it was a terrible day. I had yellow, and there were a couple of kids who were even...
They were expelled.
Well, there was one girl who was even more, she was almost kind of like this goody-goody sort of girl. Like, she never got in trouble. And for some reason that day, she actually got an orange. And another girl who didn't usually get in trouble, that was a really bad day. It was really funny that I found this because it brought back all kinds of memories about the card wall in the 3rd grade. So there was the National Fitness Award, which I think this was in either the 4th or 5th grade. I only have 2 patches, although I feel like I got these things maybe 3 times. But the National Fitness Award, and then the Presidential Fitness Award, and this was the highest ranking fitness award. And the reason I only got the National Award the first time was because I couldn't do the sit and reach, which is the flexibility stretching exercise where you put your feet against the wall, or you put your feet against the mat and then you lean forward and see like how far past your feet you can stretch. Obviously right now I can't stretch very far past my feet. So that was my downfall the first year, why I only got the National Award. So I actually practiced. I have the chart around here somewhere, I don't know where it is, where it actually shows your progress from the beginning, the end of the year, I guess, or one year to the next, and I had really concentrated and worked on my stretching, and so I did much better on the Presidential Fitness Award the second time. The other thing I did that was kind of cool was that I got the school record in my elementary school for the shuttle run with 8.86 seconds. And if you don't know what the shuttle run is I'm not even sure it's a real thing or if it was just made up for these fitness awards. But you stand on a line, and there's another line about, I don't even know, 10 yards down or something, and you have to run down to the second line. There's 2 like wooden blocks sitting on the ground on that line. So you run down about 10 yards, you pick up the block, grab it, drop it back on your line, run down again, pick up the other one, and then sprint through the line. So that's what the shuttle run was. So basically it was pure like sprint, kind of back and forth like a cheetah, and it was cool because I was really close to the record. When we had our official testing, I was super close to the record, and I went to my PE teacher and I was like, I think I can break this record if you give me a chance to do this. And she had me come in and just took me aside and worked with me, and I got to do it a couple of times, and then she timed me each time, and then I think it was on the 3rd time that I broke the record, and so my name got to go up on the board on the wall, and it was my proudest moment. No, but it was actually kind of cool. It was fun to have a school record up on the wall, and the record was up there for a number of years, so it was cool. It was
all
fun.
That damn Susie Adams. I'm just kidding. I just made that person's name up. I don't know who that is.
Whoever ended up breaking
Whoever it is broke it.
And then on that note, I have some of these field day medals. These are from like the 50 and 100 yard dash. Back when I was young and in shape, I was a pretty fast runner. And this was 2nd place. So this was 3rd grade. This was the 2nd place ribbon in the 100 yard dash. And if I remember correctly, there's a story behind this 2nd place. We were all in the line, and they said go, and we started running, and the 2 girls who were on either side of me just came and I believe it was completely unintentional because we were 8 and whatever, we were just trying to run. So both of them came up, and they both just started kind of running this way, and they kind of cut me off. So I was like, oh crap, and I had to like kind of go around one of them and keep running, but at that point there was another girl who was really fast who was way off down the line, and so she beat me.
Susie Adams.
So, 2nd place, but that's okay. So this is 1st place for the standing broad jump, and this was also a school record. I jumped 7 feet 7.5 inches. So you know the standing broad jump, you just stand and you kind of pump your arms and you just jump like a frog basically. And then they measure like where your heels land. And this was also a school record, but the old record, it was like 7 feet 6 inches or something. And then they said it was like a retired record, and I'm not really sure what that meant because the record wasn't that old. It wasn't like it had been up there for 40 years or anything, but they said it was a retired record. So even though I jumped farther than this, and a friend of mine, a girl in my class, also broke that record. I beat her by that much, but we both beat the old record, but neither of us, you know, we didn't get credit for it because it was a retired record. So I'm not really sure about that, but anyway, with the time when I jumped this, it was the school record. So 7 feet 7.5 inches in the standing broad jump. Oh, memories. Anyway, so that's just a little glimpse into my elementary school past. I think I was a much better runner and athlete than I was an artist. But yeah, it was fun to go through all these old things. And my pile of stuff to keep from this whole big mess that my parents had was about this big. Like, I wasn't really going to keep all that much. And then Kevin comes through and suddenly the pile's like triple size. There's like a whole big stack of all this stuff.
Good stuff. We'll have to go through more of it.
But anyway, so it was fun looking through it, and my brother had stuff too that we were just laughing at his old artwork and old stories, and most of his stories were about dinosaurs, most of mine were about horses and unicorns and...
The pegacorn? Or no, the unipeg is what you call it.
Unipeg. The unicorn with wings, the unipeg, I guess. So when you all were kids, what was your favorite thing? Did you have like a theme? Did you have like something that you always like wrote about or drew, or you know, what was the thing that you were always into? It seemed like all of my friends had kind of a thing. Like I had other friends who were into horses. I had some who were into teddy bears and dolphins and things like that they always liked to, you know, it was always the focus of their creative efforts. But let me know in the comments what the theme of your childhood was. That's it. We will see you next time. Please like and subscribe, and bye. Sorry Brendan was not in this video.